Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Prashant Kumar Sinha with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says India will never forget the martyrs of Jallianwala Bagh. To dedicate renovated complex of Jallianwala Bagh Smarak to the nation this evening. Prime Minister says 7 years of Jan Dhan Yojana has ensured financial inclusion and a life of dignity as well as empowerment for countless Indians. President Ramnath Kovind states world recognizes potential of traditional Indian medical practices in the times of the COVID pandemic, lays foundation stone of Uttar Pradesh's first Ayush University in Gorakhpur. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh commissions state-of-the-art Indian Coast Guard ship Vigraha in Chennai harbour. Asserts coastal defence capability augmented with self-reliance in defence sector. Centre says COVID-19 containment measures to remain in force up to the end of next month. Over 62 crore 29 lakh COVID-19 vaccine doses administered across the country so far. Recovery rate stands at 97.56%. In Madhya Pradesh, all government and private schools to open from the 1st of September with 50% capacity. Centre says safety of Indian citizens in Afghanistan topmost priority. Ministry of External Affairs continues to monitor situation in crisis-hit country. In Paralympics, paddler Bhavina Patel defeats China's world number 3 Miao Chang to enter gold medal match of women's singles class 4 event. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says Bhavina's accomplishments inspire the entire nation. And in cricket, India to resume second innings at 215 for 2 against England on day 4 of third test at Headingley. As the nationwide free COVID-19 vaccination campaign at government facilities for those above 18 years is underway, we advise our young listeners to get vaccinated and also help others get vaccinated. We also advise our listeners not to lower their guard as COVID-19 remains a threat to our health. Please stay at home unless it is essential to go out and continue to follow these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011-2397-8046 and 1075. And other news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said India will never forget the martyrs of Jallianwala Bagh. The Prime Minister will dedicate the renovated complex of Jallianwala Bagh Smarak to the nation at 6:25 this evening through video conferencing. He will also inaugurate the museum galleries developed at the Smarak. The event will showcase the multiple development initiatives taken by the government to upgrade the complex. Union Minister of Culture, Union Minister of Housing and Urban Affairs, Ministers of State for Culture, Governor and Chief Minister of Punjab, Chief Ministers of Haryana, Uttar Pradesh and Himachal Pradesh, all Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha MPs from Punjab, members of Jallianwala Bagh National Memorial Trust among others will be present on the occasion. Now we go to our correspondent Ashwini Kumar. Ashwini, what are the new features added to the renovated complex of the Jallianwala Bagh Smarak?
Valsa, 4 museum galleries have been created through adaptive reuse of redundant and underutilized buildings. The galleries showcase the historical value of events that unfolded in Punjab during that period with the fusion of audiovisual technology, including projection mapping and 3D representation, as well as art and sculptural installations. A sound and light show has been set up to display the events that happened on 13th April 1919. Multiple development initiatives have been undertaken at the complex.
Right, Ashwini. Also tell us about the heritage restoration work carried out at the complex.
Valsa, elaborate heritage restoration works have been carried out in synchronization with the local architectural style. The Shahidi well has been repaired and restored with the redefined superstructure. The heart of the Bagh, the flame monument, has been repaired and restored. Also, newer areas have been built for housing the Salvation Ground, Amarjot and Flag Mosque.
Thank you, Ashwini, for those details.
सूरज गगन में जब तलक आबाद रहेगा,
सूरज गगन में जब तलक आबाद रहेगा,
ये जलियांवाला बाग हमें याद रहेगा, हर जुल्म से।
The central government's flagship financial inclusion program, Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana (PMJDY), has completed 7 years today. The scheme was launched on this day in 2014 with the aim to provide universal access to banking facilities to people across the country. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has applauded the untiring efforts of those who have worked to make Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana a success. He said their efforts have ensured the people of India lead a better quality of life. In a series of tweets, Mr. Modi said, "Today we mark 7 years of Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, an initiative that has forever transformed India's development trajectory." He said it has ensured financial inclusion and a life of dignity as well as empowerment for countless Indians. The Prime Minister said Jan Dhan Yojana has also helped further transparency. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said the journey of PMJDY-led interventions undertaken over a short span of 7 years has in effect produced both transformational as well as directional change, thereby making the emerging financial inclusion ecosystem capable of delivering services to the last person of society. She said the underlying pillars of PMJDY, namely banking the unbanked, securing the unsecured and funding the unfunded, has made it possible to adopt multi-stakeholders collaborative approach while leveraging technology for serving the underserved and unserved areas as well. Union Home Minister Amit Shah said that farmers, poor, labourers and women have benefited the most from Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. He said installments of PM Kisan gas subsidy and other governments' help directly reached in the accounts of beneficiaries at the time of COVID-19 pandemic without any corruption. Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Singh Thakur said over 43 crore beneficiaries now have a bank account in the country. Lauding Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, he said more than half of the total beneficiaries, that is over 23 crore 80 lakh, are women. In a series of tweets, Mr. Thakur said architecture created under the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana facilitated transfer of over 1 lakh crore rupees as direct income support to over 10 crore farmers under PM Kisan. He said the scheme was also used to credit nearly 31,000 crore rupees into the accounts of 20 crore 64 lakh women under the PM Garib Kalyan Yojana. Seema Kushwaha from Barwadiya Kala, Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh said that Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana has proved immensely beneficial for her.
मेरा नाम सीमा कुशवाहा है। केंद्र सरकार के द्वारा जो जनधन खाते खुलवाए गए हैं उसके लिए मैं प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी का आभार व्यक्त करती हूँ। इन खातों के जरिए गरीब जनता बैंकों से जुड़ने लगी है और अपनी आय का छोटा छोटा अमाउंट अपने खाते में जमा करती है, जिससे उसकी सेविंग्स भी हो रही है। इसी के चलते इस समय कोरोना काल में हमें आर्थिक सहायता भी जनधन खाते में प्रदान की गई है और समय समय पर जो सरकार की स्कीम होती है उनकी सुविधा भी हमें जनधन खाते के द्वारा मिलती रहती है। इसके लिए मैं प्रधानमंत्री जी का बहुत बहुत आभार व्यक्त करती हूँ।
President Ram Nath Kovind said the world has recognized the potential of traditional Indian medical practices in the times of the COVID pandemic. He said the time has come to give recognition to the Ayush medical practices at the global level, and the establishment of Ayush University in Uttar Pradesh will help immensely in this regard. On the third day of his visit to Uttar Pradesh, the President laid the foundation stone of the state's first Ayush University in Gorakhpur today. He said the central government established a dedicated Ayush ministry in 2014 to promote traditional Indian medical practices. He said it is heartening to know that Uttar Pradesh also established a dedicated Ayush department in 2017, and now Ayush University will come up in the state. The President said since ancient times, India has laid stress on the good health of its people. He said the contribution of Guru Gorakhnath in the development of yoga is immense, and therefore it is apt to name the state's first Ayush University as Guru Gorakhnath Ayush Vishwavidyalaya.
महायोगी गोरखनाथ आयुष विश्वविद्यालय की स्थापना से आयुष पद्धतियों की शिक्षा एवं लोकप्रियता को और बढ़ावा मिलेगा। लोक जीवन में एक कल्याणकारी कहावत प्रचलित है, कहा जाता है कि पहला सुख निरोगी काया। गोस्वामी तुलसीदास जी ने भी कहा था कि बड़े भाग मानुष तन पावा, सुर दुर्लभ सब ग्रंथ ही गावा। अर्थात बड़े भाग्य से ही हमें यह मानव जीवन प्राप्त होता है। यह शरीर देवताओं के लिए भी दुर्लभ है, ऐसा सभी ग्रंथों में कहा गया है। ऐसे दुर्लभ मानव शरीर और मन की रक्षा के लिए आयुष विश्वविद्यालय की स्थापना की दिशा में प्रदेश की राज्यपाल श्रीमती आनंदीबेन पटेल और मुख्यमंत्री श्री योगी आदित्यनाथ द्वारा किए गए प्रयासों की मैं सराहना करता हूं।
Mr. Kovind said the demand for various medicinal herbs has increased manifold in the pandemic times, and the farmers could benefit by producing such medicinal herbs. This will help boost their income. Governor Anandiben Patel, in her address, thanked the central government for introducing schemes like Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana for free distribution of LPG gas cylinders, Ayushman Bharat Yojana and Mission Indradhanush. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath said the Ayush University in Gorakhpur will help in promoting traditional Indian medical practices at the global level. He said it will also act as a single platform by bringing all Ayush colleges under its umbrella. More from our correspondent.
The state government has fixed 2023 as the deadline to complete the construction of Ayush University. Spread over 52 acres, the university will house Ayurveda, Unani, Homeopathy and Yoga Medicare on its campus. The budget of over rupees 299 crores has been earmarked for its construction. The university will be instrumental in research in the fields of Ayush. 94 colleges of Ayush discipline of the state will be affiliated to this university. With the establishment of Ayush University, Gorakhpur will get a major boost in the field of healthcare, as the city already has a medical college and a soon to be inaugurated AIIMS. Aditya Shukla, AIR News, Gorakhpur.
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh today commissioned the state-of-the-art Indian Coast Guard ship Vigraha in Chennai harbour. Speaking on the occasion, the minister said the commissioning of the ship showcases significant improvement in coastal defence capability, as also the ever-increasing self-reliance in the defence sector. The 100-metre-long indigenously designed ship has been fitted with state-of-the-art navigation system useful for patrolling the coastal borders. The minister appreciated the Coast Guard for not only protecting the fishing community, but also for the assistance of the Department of Customs and other authorities in protecting the islands and terminals.
Which is about 100 meters long, is equipped with the latest technologies of the day, be it the navigation system or communication equipment, sensors or other installed equipment. All these are going to meet the needs not only of today but also the future for a long time to come. The Coast Guard has always been ready to extend help our neighboring countries in line with the spirit inclusiveness. During the fire on the heavy cargo tanker New Diamond last year and the cargo ship Express Pearl this year, you have provided active and timely assistance to Sri Lanka. The journey of growth of our Indian Coast Guard, which began with a modest 5 to 7 small boats, has today grown to over 20,000 active personnel, over 150 vessels and a fleet of over 65 aircrafts.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will share his thoughts with the people in the country and abroad in the Mann Ki Baat program on All India Radio at 11 a.m. tomorrow. This will be the 80th episode of the monthly radio program. It will be broadcast on the entire network of AIR and Doordarshan and also on AIR News website www.newsonair.com and the News on AIR mobile app. It will also be streamed live on the YouTube channels of AIR, DD News, PMO and Information and Broadcasting Ministry. You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says India will never forget the martyrs of Jallianwala Bagh to dedicate renovated complex of Jallianwala Bagh Smarak to the nation this evening. Prime Minister says 7 years of Jan Dhan Yojana has ensured financial inclusion and a life of dignity as well as empowerment for countless Indians. President Ramnath Kovind states world recognizes potential of traditional Indian medical practices in the times of the COVID pandemic, lays foundation stone of Uttar Pradesh's first Ayush University in Gorakhpur. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh commissions state-of-the-art Indian Coast Guard ship Vigraha in Chennai Harbour, asserts coastal defence capability augmented with self-reliance in defence sector. Centre says COVID-19 containment measures to remain in force up to the end of next month. Over 62 crore 29 lakh COVID-19 vaccine doses administered across the country so far. Recovery rate stands at 97.56%. In Madhya Pradesh, all government and private schools to open from the 1st of September with 50% capacity. Centre says safety of Indian citizens in Afghanistan topmost priority. Ministry of External Affairs continues to monitor situation in crisis-hit country. In Paralympics, paddler Bhavina Patel defeats China's world number 3 Miao Zhang to enter gold medal match of women's singles class 4 event. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says Bhavina's accomplishments inspire entire nation. And in cricket, India to resume second innings at 215 for 2 against England on day 4 of the third test at Headingley. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे।
भारत के स्वतंत्रता संग्राम में अनगिनत स्वतंत्रता सेनानियों ने अपने प्राणों की आहुति दी। कुछ इतिहास में अमर हो गए और कई गुमनाम। आजादी के अमृत महोत्सव के अंतर्गत 75 कड़ियों की श्रृंखला में हम उन वीरांगनाओं की बात करेंगे जिनका योगदान कभी भुलाया नहीं जा सकता। प्रत्येक मंगलवार परिक्रमा में सुनिए अपराजिता, देश की वीरांगनाओं को आकाशवाणी का सादर नमन।
Welcome back. You're listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. The Ministry of Home Affairs has said that containment measures for COVID-19 will remain in force up to the end of next month. In a letter written to states and union territories today, Union Home Secretary Ajay Bhalla has urged to issue strict directions to the districts and local authorities to take necessary measures for management and containment of COVID-19. The Ministry of Home Affairs said the overall pandemic situation at the national level now appears to be largely stable except the localized spread of the virus in a few states. However, the total number of active cases and high case positivity in some districts continues to remain a matter of concern. The ministry said states and union territories having high positivity in their districts should take proactive containment measures to effectively contain the transmission of the virus. It emphasized on identification of warning signs of potential surges at an early stage to take appropriate measures to curb the spread. Over 62 crore 29 lakh COVID-19 vaccine doses have been administered in the country so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. In the last 24 hours, over 1 crore 3 lakh vaccine doses were administered. The Union Health Ministry said the COVID recovery rate in the country is now at 97.56%. In the last 24 hours, over 46,000 new COVID-19 cases were reported, while more than 31,000 people have recovered. In all, 509 people lost their lives during the period. Till now, more than 3 crore 18 lakh people have recovered from COVID-19. Over 17 lakh COVID tests were conducted yesterday. In Madhya Pradesh, Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan has announced that all schools, including government and private schools, will open in the state from the 1st of September with 50% capacity. More from our correspondent.
State government has decided that schools will open for the students of class 6th to 12th from September 1st with 50% students in all government and non-government schools of the state. Parents' consent and strict adherence to COVID-19 guidelines has been made mandatory. Vaccination of all teaching and non-teaching staff is also essential. Chief Minister has appealed to all the students and parents to ensure COVID-appropriate behavior. Pooja P. Vardhan, AIR News, Bhopal.
The government has said that safety of Indian citizens in Afghanistan is its topmost priority. Briefing media, External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Arindam Bagchi said that India continues to monitor the situation in the crisis-hit country very carefully, and this is an evolving situation. Mr. Bagchi said the government has evacuated 550 people in 6 separate flights, either from Kabul or Dushanbe. He said of these, over 260 were Indians. He informed that the overall assessment is that the vast majority of Indians who wish to return have been evacuated. As our nation celebrates the 75th year of independence, a series of events are being organized by the government as a part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
Azadi Ka Safar every day with All India Radio from Monday the 16th of August. As part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, News Services Division of All India Radio brings to you the story of glorious struggle and sacrifices of freedom fighters on 100.1 FM Gold channel in the English news bulletins at 8:30 a.m., 2 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. Stay tuned.
Now let's listen to our special program Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव।
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
In today's episode, we bring you the story of a great freedom fighter and social reformer from Gujarat, Jhaved Chand Meghani. Jhaved Chand Meghani was born on this day in 1896 in Chotila town of Surendranagar district in Gujarat. Inclined towards literature from a young age, he wrote his very first poem when he was just 12. He went on to pursue degrees in both Sanskrit and English literature. In 1930, the noted poet and writer was sentenced to 2 years in jail for writing the book Sindhu that contained songs to inspire the youth participating in the struggle for independence from the British Raj.
It was during this time that he wrote Kavya Tripoti based on Gandhiji's visit to London for the Round Table Conference. He was conferred the title of Rashtra Shayar or a national poet by Mahatma Gandhi. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel praised him and said he was a voice full of courage. One of his most famous songs, Mor Bani Thangat Kare, My Mind Dances Like a Peacock, was used in the 2013 Hindi film Goliyo Ki Ras Leela Ram Leela.
Meghani authored more than 100 books. His first book was a translation work of Rabindranath Tagore's ballad Kotha O Kahini, titled Kurbani Niye Kotha, Stories of Martyrdom, which was first published in 1922. He was also the editor of Phool Chhap newspaper of Janmabhoomi Group, which is being published till date from Rajkot.
It was also on this day in 1928 that the Nehru Committee Report or the Nehru Report was submitted at the Lucknow session of the All-Party Conference. A committee headed by Motilal Nehru, with Jawaharlal Nehru as the secretary, was set up to draft a constitution. When the Simon Commission came to India in 1928, it was vehemently opposed by Indians, especially by the Indian National Congress, for the lack of a single Indian in the commission. So, the Secretary of the State for India, Lord Birkenhead, challenged the Indian leaders to draft a constitution for India, implicitly implying that Indians were not capable of finding a common path and drafting a constitution.
The political leaders accepted this challenge, and an all-party conference was held and a committee report appointed with the task of drafting a constitution. The Nehru report had the primary motive of assigning dominion status to India within the British Commonwealth. Some of the main recommendations of the report were the formation of a federal form of government with residuary powers in the hands of centre, enshrinement of 19 fundamental rights, including the right to vote for men and women above 21 years of age, equal rights for men and women as citizens, no state religion, and a proposal for the creation of a Supreme Court. In fact, the Nehru report was the first major attempt by Indians to draft a constitution of India.
Today is the death anniversary of the great freedom fighter Chengjapao Dongel from Manipur, popularly known as Chengjapao Kuki. He was one of the Kuki leaders who questioned the British authority during the Kuki uprising of 1917-1919. During the Second World War, he organized Kukis against colonial and feudal authority of the British under the banner of the Indian National Army. He was the chief of Asan, the city of Dongal clan. During the reign of Chengjapao, Asan's glory spread far and wide, and it became the most powerful city. The British government saw the rise of Chengjapao Dongel and the revolt of the Kukis as a serious threat to the eastern part of India. Chengjapao Dongel was arrested and sent to jail for 4 years.
After India gained its independence, the government, in recognition of the bravery shown by the Kuki heroes and in memory of the war of independence they had fought, gave a grant for the construction of Kuki Inn, which today stands in the heart of the Imphal town. Chengjapao Dongel's name will continue to be remembered with honor and reverence in the history of India's freedom struggle. That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in next episode tomorrow.
On to sports. Paddler Bhavina Patel continued her giant killing march at the Tokyo Paralympics as she ousted China's world number 3 Miao Chang to enter the gold medal match of women's singles class 4 event. Bhavina became the first Indian to enter the final of a table tennis event in the Paralympics with a hard-fought 3-2 win over Miao Chang. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has congratulated paddler Bhavina Patel for her remarkable performance in the Tokyo Paralympic Games. Praising Bhavina for her excellent performance, Mr. Modi said the entire nation is praying for your success and will be cheering for you. In a tweet today, he said Bhavina's accomplishments inspire the entire nation. He asked Bhavina to give her best and play without any pressure in the gold medal match. In cricket, India will resume their second innings at the overnight score of 215 for 2 against England on day 4 of the third test at Headingley. Cheteshwar Pujara at 91 and Virat Kohli at 45 were at the crease when stumps were drawn yesterday. India trail by 139 runs.
Now let us take a look at the weather update for today. The national capital Delhi generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. The minimum temperature was 28 degrees Celsius while the maximum is likely to be nearly 35 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will also have generally cloudy skies with moderate rain. Temperatures will hover between 25 and 31 degrees Celsius. Chennai is expected to have generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. Temperature will hover between 37 and 27 at a minimum. Kolkata will have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says India will never forget the martyrs of Jallianwala Bagh. To dedicate renovated complex of Jallianwala Bagh Smarak to the nation this evening. Prime Minister says 7 years of Jan Dhan Yojana has ensured financial inclusion and a life of dignity as well as empowerment for countless Indians. President Ramnath Kovind states, world recognizes potential of traditional Indian medical practices in the times of the COVID pandemic. Lays foundation stone of Uttar Pradesh's first Ayush University in Gorakhpur. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh commissions state-of-the-art Indian Coast Guard ship Vigraha in Chennai Harbour, asserts coastal defence capability augmented with self-reliance in defence sector. Centre says COVID-19 containment measures to remain in force up to end of next month. Over 62 crore 29 lakh COVID-19 vaccine doses administered across the country so far. Recovery rate at 97.56%. In Madhya Pradesh, all government and private schools to open from 1st of September with 50% capacity. Centre says safety of Indian citizens in Afghanistan topmost priority. Ministry of External Affairs continues to monitor situation in crisis-hit country. In Paralympics, paddler Bhavina Patel defeats China's world number 3 Miao Chang to enter gold medal match of women's singles class 4 event. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says Bhavina's accomplishments inspire the entire nation. And in cricket, India to resume second innings at 2:15 for 2 against England on day 4 of third test at Headingley. And with that we end the midday news.